Good morning. Well, MediaPost does such a great job. It's really impressive, especially when you can actually like go online and order snow last night and bacon, right? But they do an amazing job. As John mentioned, we've sponsored last year, I think 14 or 17 events with them, over about 100 events total we've done this year alone. Not just for MediaPost, but all through the world. And in fact, I have a team right now across the world doing this very same thing. But we've made the commitment to really invest in bringing communities together. I think MediaPost does a fantastic job with that recipe. And again, it's not just about what's around this room and who's around your table. Venture out, meet some new folks, learn some new things. There's a lot in our industry right now that is underway. There's a lot of changes, there's a lot of concerns, there's a lot of challenges. We'll talk about a couple of those just to help set the stage as well. And so as we've been, again, traveling the world this year alone, this venue particularly is one of my personal favorites as well. Obviously, it's a beautiful backdrop here in Deer Valley. Again, Park City itself is also amazing, but let's talk a little bit about some trends. So we actually just did a CMO event, about 100 CMOs we brought together in Dorado Beach, Puerto Rico, about 2 months ago. Some of them are in the room. And really, we're hearing a lot of the same trends keep on bubbling up and surfacing. There's just a few that I wanted to kind of really bring out today. I was just having dinner as well with the head of DEI and DE&I at one of the top insurance carriers as well. And the thing about this too is diversity is not just a trend. It's not a fad. We've spent a lot of time too with the ANAs as well, right? It's not just limited to culture or multicultural campaigns. Or advertising, right? We believe as well, it actually is diversity of search and performance as well. You've all been following a lot of the news in the last 10 days, specifically about what's been uncovering with some of the major giants. It just, again, is another proof point of the need for diversification, right? To mitigate risk as a brand or as an agency representing your brands. As well. So again, I would challenge everybody to think about that differently. Diversity, equity, inclusion. So from a diversity perspective, how does your search portfolio look? Is it siloed to one or two players? And if so, that's pretty risky. And really from an inclusion perspective, it really you need to think about too from a allocation or budget allocation perspective as well. If it's working well, then what else can you do? And some of that really begins at the tables that everyone's sitting at, right, with CMOs and having those conversations with brand managers as well, and opening their eyes to life beyond 2 or 3 partners. And not just search too, you've seen a lot of fun interviews like from X, right, from Twitter, and really calling out advertising, right, based on comments from a brand safety standpoint they've been making. So anyhow, very important. From a search landscape, people are searching on the nearest screen, the nearest device, voice, visual. Again, come find us. We can actually share a lot of use cases with you of how that looks as well. But especially as people are going through discovery of shopping in general, right? Search has always been a strong pillar in this space. I've been in this space for 28 years, been on your side of the table, and I spent about $250 million myself with Google. So at the end of the day, though, again, discovery is P2P, right? It's peer-to-peer. It's not just about an engine. It's not just about a platform. It's not just about, again, one of the social networks out there. At the end of the day, it's about everything, right? People are searching for products, services, and brands in the moment that they're at. Expectations, really, it's immediate, instant gratification, personalization. You'll hear a lot about AI. Right, AI is cool according to my, especially 19-year-old, 16-year-old, and 10-year-old kids, right? And they're like, Dad, do you just like go skiing and go hang out in Puerto Rico, and that's your life? I want to do that. I'm like, no. So they think everything is like AI now, right? Not the case. But people have the expectations of really shipping now, right? It's not about, buying a product and having it delivered in an hour or 2 hours. It's about like instant, as soon as you press click, right? You want it now. And then also, we'll see a lot of macro trends too. You've been seeing a lot of these surface about really consumer confidence and consumer spending, about buy now, if you will pay later, right? A lot of the pay laters we'll see next year, especially for considered purchases, bigger purchases as well. And then data governance, right? So US, but also in a lot of other regions as well. We just hired a head of industry at Google in the UK recently. So there's a lot underway. We're a California-based company, so we're the front runners, right, with a lot of that as well. But from again, brand safety standpoint and a usage standpoint, there's a lot of changes at the federal level, state level as well. And so it's just the big trend that everyone needs to stay on top of as well. Industry challenges, just to go through these super quickly. How many people saw over a 5% increase in cost per click on Google or Bing in the last 12 months? Anyone see more than 30% increase cost per click of non-brand conquesting? We've done surveys and interviews with people. We've heard anywhere from 30% to 70% increases in non-brand and conquesting especially. Brand, you saw one of the studies that was released was over 5 to 10% as well. So first-party data will be a big trend heading into the year as well. First-party cookies, right? This has been kicking the can down the road, right, as well from Google's perspective. The latest announcement that we've heard was Q1 2024. We'll see if that comes true at that point in time as well. But at the end of the day, really, as a brand, it's to think about, what am I doing? What's my plan A, B, and C? Because we know the moment that that comes through and third-party cookie blocking, especially in Chrome, goes into effect, it's not just going to impact search. It's going to impact every digital touch point that you have, right, with consumers, especially when you talk about remarketing as well. So we've built our own tech stack from DMP, SSP, and DSP, and we have first-party data in about 230 million people in the US alone, and then globally as well into many other markets. So, but come find us. At the end of the day, again, we're big testing fanatics. We're big fans of testing and learning as well. So, when we do tests and bake-offs, we'll see significant improvements and compare ourselves against the marquee, which is Google, specifically against non-brand segments. But there's a lot that we can untap for people. There's a lot of different use cases. We have about 100 case studies. We can't share, obviously, all of them. Some of those will be blinded. But again, we've got a lot, I'm sure, for every challenge in the room. There's a lot that we can really go through. So come spend some time with us, if it's around a table or a drink or on the slopes as well. We're a full-service group. So a lot of former executives on our leadership team that spent over 20 years on average at big brands such as Yahoo, Amazon, Google, IPG, and many others as well. It's not our first rodeo. We've been through many hard times before in the industry. The industry was birthed out of one of the hardest times during the economic recession as well. So come find us. Happy to talk to everybody and really make some new friends as well. And then lastly, from a segment perspective, in our DMP, I mentioned we have first-party data, again, over 200 million people and over 300 data points. So for search marketers, keywords is one signal that we have over 300. Location would be 2, et cetera, et cetera. So challenge us. If you want to share even like top audiences that you're looking to strategically grow in or lifetime value segments, happy to work through that as well. Everything we do is a custom proposal. So if you're going snowmobiling, which we're sponsoring, have fun with that. If you're going down the slopes, have fun with that. Again, the challenge really is to believe that the world exists beyond a Google, beyond a Bing, beyond a Meta as well, right? And so everyone in this room really, my challenge would be to really kind of carry that torch back to your companies as well with new ideas for growth. That's why we're all here. That's why we do what we do, right? We're not here to just check the box and go through an interface, right? At the end of the day, it's to push the envelope forward. So got to believe in that. Have fun along the way as well. And looking forward to spending time with you guys over the next 3 days. So enjoy.